He thought no one would ever question him. He fined people for trash cans, stole from the community, and smiled while doing it. But he never expected one quiet neighbor to destroy everything he built with nothing but facts. If you've ever had a power-hungry boss, a corrupt leader, or just someone who thought they were untouchable, this revenge will hit deep. Stick around, because justice, it doesn't just knock. It kicks the door in. This happened a few years ago, in a quiet suburban neighborhood where people moved to find peace, but what they found instead was a man named Todd. Todd was the president of the Homeowners Association, and he treated the title like it made him king. He fined people for leaving out trash cans, for planting the wrong kind of flowers, even for paint that was just slightly off-tone. He was the kind of person who hid behind rules, only to break them when they got in his way. His own fence was too tall, his lawn a disaster, and he built structures in his yard without any permits. But the worst part, Todd wasn't just annoying, he was stealing. When a new neighbor moved in, let's call him Jake, he tried to play by the rules. He had to stain his fence, but the approved color was out of stock. So he picked the closest match and kept the receipt. A few days later, Jake found a $500 fine in his mailbox. Jake approached Todd calmly, showed him the receipt, and explained the situation. Todd didn't even look at it. He smirked and said, "Rules are rules," before walking away. That was the moment Jake knew. He wasn't dealing with a leader. He was dealing with a little man who thought power made him untouchable. But Jake, he wasn't going to scream. He wasn't going to start a war. He was going to outthink him. Jake joined the HOA board. Said he just wanted to help the community. Todd believed him. For 2 years, Jake watched everything. How Todd pushed votes through when his allies were around. How he buried board members in paperwork until they gave up. How requests mysteriously disappeared if they came from people who questioned him. Jake took notes. Quietly. Patiently. And then, he followed the money. The discovery. Follow the money. The HOA fees were sky high. But the pool was constantly closed. The park. Falling apart. And the landscaping. Looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Jake asked Todd for the budget. Todd laughed and waved him off. So Jake filed a formal request. Still nothing. Then he started talking to neighbors. And what he learned made his blood boil. Todd had installed a new patio at his own house. Paid for with HOA funds. His kids used the pool during the maintenance closure, while other families sat in the heat. Over a dozen homeowners had asked for budget transparency. All ignored. Jake had enough. Eventually, Todd gave in and handed over the financial records. And they were a disaster. Invoices missing. Companies that didn't exist. Thousands labeled administrative costs with zero explanation. A $15,000 landscaping fee paid to a business that wasn't real. Jake compared the bank records to public databases. And there it was. Todd was stealing money, redirecting HOA payments into personal accounts, splitting profits with a shady contractor friend who handled maintenance. Jake didn't just find the truth. He documented it. Photos, bank transfers, witness statements, spreadsheets. It wasn't a report, it was a legal bomb. Jake waited for the next HOA meeting. Usually, only a handful of people showed up. But this time, Jake made sure the room would be full. He knocked on doors. Shared just enough to make people curious and angry. The night of the meeting, the room was packed. Standing room only. Todd took the mic, bragging about how hard he worked, how much he sacrificed. Jake stood up. "I have a few questions about the budget," he said. Todd laughed nervously. "This isn't the time or place." Jake smiled. "Actually, Todd, it's the perfect time." He handed out copies of his report. One by one, people started reading. Whispering. Pointing. Shouting. Todd tried to talk over them, but it was over. Jake called for a vote to remove him. And just like that, Todd was done. After Todd was removed, the board hired an independent auditor. What they found was worse than anyone imagined. Todd had embezzled over $50,000. He had lied. Forged documents. pocketed HOA funds, and his contractor friend blacklisted from doing business in the entire county. Jake and the board filed criminal charges. Todd had to sell his house to pay restitution and legal fees. His name became a joke in the neighborhood. And when he moved to a nearby town and tried to join another HOA, someone Googled his name during the meeting. He was laughed out of the room. The neighborhood didn't just remove Todd. They rebuilt what he tried to destroy. Term limits were added. Financial approvals now required multiple signatures. Every document was published online for all homeowners to see. The pool, open every summer. The park, beautifully maintained. HOA fees, cut almost in half. And Jake, he didn't want a statue or a title. He just wanted peace. Every time he walks past Todd's old house, now owned by a sweet young family, he smiles. Because this time, the neighborhood finally got what it deserved. A little peace, a lot of justice, and a reminder that sometimes, the quiet ones are the most dangerous of all. Some people chase power. Others chase truth. And in the end, truth always catches up. If this story gave you chills, drop a comment below with the most satisfying justice you've ever seen, and don't forget to subscribe for more revenge stories where the bad guys never see it coming.